REALTREE's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cabela's, Cuddyback, America's Best Bowstrings, Drake Non-Typical, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, and REALTREE.
Day 19, November 4th. This afternoon I'm heading to a spot that I call the Skinny Plot. And this is the little small food plot about an acre in size where I killed that buck that I'd nicknamed Skinny back in 2016. It's actually kind of a fun spot to hunt because it's right next to the road. I've been watching this deer down there. I'm parked about, maybe I'm too close, I'm probably about 300 yards away from the Skinny Plot right along the road here, and there's a deer crossing the road. It's been standing there for the last 2 minutes just watching us up here, but I think it was just a doe. So it's nice to have one that you can access using the gravel road, and then right at the last second you just bounce off the road and up into the plot. And then I play it where the wind is blowing from the food plot over this little valley and then right down over the road. So it's much less likely for a deer to come from that direction than from any of the other directions coming into that plot. So we've got a good safe entry route and a good safe wind while we're on the stand. This, I believe, would be the west end of this buck that I'm calling the Big 7, on the west end of his, what I believe to be his range. I saw him in there last year, so I've got that much to go by, but it's really not very far from where I've been getting most of the pictures of that deer so far this year. So I do think that there's a possibility of him showing up in there. That's the reason we're hunting it. I'm going to gather up my stuff and get down there. It's a beautiful, if you want to call it that, rut hunting afternoon. Mid-40s, probably 10 to 15 mile an hour wind straight out of the west. Full overcast, steel gray sky. It just has that, that November feel to it. So it's going to be, if nothing else, it's just going to be fun to sit in the tree and just soak up November. Oh, there you go. See him? Yeah. That's the little 7. About halfway through my evening sit so far. It was just a few minutes after we got up in the tree. A little 2-year-old buck pushed a doe into the plot, and then another, even younger, 1.5-year-old buck came and joined the chase. So we had some action early. We had a fawn that came in that was browsing right underneath the tree stand. It's kind of funny sometimes the different reaction that deer have to human scent, because that fawn had to have come in on the exact same trail that we walked in on. And I know that we were brushing against low vegetation that would have left scent all along that route. Didn't pay any attention to it, so they obviously get smarter as they get older. But the plot that I'm sitting on is about an acre but it's narrow, and it's about 100 yards long, roughly, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 125 yards long. And I love this style or this size or shape of a food plot, because anything that comes out in this plot pretty much ends up traveling the length. And because it's so narrow, you get a close range bow shot. I have a whole bunch of these kind of spots on the farm. I think I've got 6 or 7 of them that are real similar to this. And these are the types of places that I just love to hunt, you know, mornings and evenings, especially during the rut. It just seems like the bucks are always checking these spots, sort of like they're a community center or a social hub for this part of the farm. So any deer that is coming and going, they need to swing in here and check it out. So if you don't have little spots like this in your property and you have the ability to make them, they're a huge advantage. I mean, it'd be, like I said, they're the best spots on my whole farm, and they're not very hard to make either. A lot of times you can find little natural openings and then just turn them into a small food plot like this. So kind of keep that as a possible goal for the off season, is to create something similar to this where you hunt. And I know that you're going to love the kind of action and the close range shots that you get. I think it's the same deer. We're down to the last half hour of our hunt here today. It's getting dark really fast because of this heavy overcast. But I wanted to talk real quick about where we're at in the rut. Today was our first chase. And I'm sure people have been seeing them, you know, fairly routinely, but that's the first one for us. Normally, if you can catch that first hot doe in the range of any buck that you're hunting, that's your best chance of seeing that deer. And I think it's going to happen over the next couple of days. I don't think the doe that was in this chase today was hot. I think the buck was he just had a case of wishful thinking. But I do think over the next couple of days now, we're going to run into that first hot doe right in this area where I'm hunting. And I'm committed to trying to get that big 7. It'd be a fun buck to eventually put on the ground. So we're going to stay right here and stay after him over these next couple of days. We just had a decent 2-year-old come past the stand. And got about, like I said, a half hour left, so we'll show you whatever else comes out in the last minutes of today's hunt. Otherwise, check back tomorrow, and we'll keep the story going.